Welcome back to Fall in the Field at the Rogue River Preserve. My name's Jessica and I'm one of your instructors today. In our last video, we identified some different bird species like the Lewis's woodpecker. But why is this important? And why do we even pay attention to the birds around us? First of all, did you know that birds are dinosaurs? They've been on Earth for the past 60 million years. Birds are valuable contributing members to ecosystems all around the world. They are the messengers that tell us about the health of our planet and our local ecosystems, also known as bioindicators. Birds help control insect populations, pollinate plants, help to disperse seeds, and are also part of nature's cleanup crew. So basically, birds are really important, but something's happening.
What do you notice about this graph? What does this graph make you wonder? Pause the video and write down some of your thoughts.
This graph made me wonder, why are bird populations declining in North America? What are some of the causes? Bird populations are in decline because of habitat loss from agriculture, logging, and development, and also from the effects of climate change. Window, building, and car collisions cause 500 million to 1 billion bird deaths in the U.S. annually. Predation from cats is another major cause of bird mortality in the U.S., causing 2.4 billion bird deaths. Other causes of declining bird populations include pollution, pesticides, and poison, and invasive species outcompeting native species, such as European starling or house sparrow. So what can we do about this? Our planet needs birds in order to function properly.
Well, Jessica asks a really good question. And fortunately, there is one way that we can observe how bird populations are doing and how they might be responding to some of these threats. Welcome to eBird. eBird is a community science website and database where people can submit their observations of birds from around the world. Users can look up information about species or birding hotspots by going up to Explore here. So you can see there are ways for us to explore regions. Hotspots are basically very popular birding areas that you can search and look up more information on what they've seen lately. We could look up particular species. So here, I'm going to go down to species maps. And let's say I was curious about what the wood duck population has been doing lately. I'm not really sure. But I type that in and it comes up with a map of all wood duck sightings on eBird. And if I go over here, I can actually look up my location, which is Ashland, Oregon. And here we can see all of the wood duck sightings on eBird in my area. So that's a really neat feature. People can also submit their own sightings if we go up to submit here. And we just follow the directions on the website. And once you've put in all of your bird sightings for that area, then you come over here, you confirm that you submitted a complete checklist, and then you hit the submit button there. So that's just a really easy way for birders to submit their observations on the site. People can also submit their observations through the eBird app, which is free to download. Now, anyone can contribute to this project, which is a really neat thing. And in fact, more than 100 million sightings are reported on eBird every year. So that's seriously cool. But there's more to this than just submitting things for fun, because eBird data is actually being used constantly in real scientific research, as well as work in habitat protections, wildlife management, and creating laws for conservation. And one of the really amazing things that researchers have been able to do with eBird data is create animated maps like this one. So this is an abundance map of the Lewis's woodpecker, which is a very unique bird found on the Rogue River Preserve, and it's one that we talked about in past videos. And so based on the data that eBird users submit, we can scroll through a period of 1 year and see how the population is shifting. So we want to pay attention over here to this scale. Darker colors means that there are more woodpeckers in that area. Lighter means there are fewer. And then we can just kind of keep track of this time scale here as we play this animation. So let's go ahead and see what happens to the population when we play this animation map. And we've come back to the beginning of the year. So clearly a lot of movement happening. We can also go over here and just go through the movements step by step to get more of these snapshots of what's happening. But I'm going to go ahead and just play it again and have it playing in the background on repeat. And I am curious about what you think and what you notice about the Lewis's woodpecker population as we play this animation. So how is the population shifting? How is the abundance changing? And how is it changing as the population moves? Where do we see the highest number of woodpeckers, and what times of the year do we see these high numbers? So just take a moment, go ahead and even jot down some thoughts as you're watching this animation. And we're going to also think about some of the threats that we were just discussing. So a recent study has shown that 3 billion birds, which is 29% of all birds, have been lost since 1970. That's a huge number. And we have to predict how current threats might cause further decline in bird populations in order to come up with effective solutions. So as we're looking at this map and as we're thinking about those threats that we addressed, how will the Lewis's woodpecker population be affected? Do you think they might overcrowd an area? Or maybe are they in danger of disappearing in any areas? So just take some time, again, jot down any thoughts you have as we play this animation map. And I'm going to let it play out one more time, and I will meet you back at Rogue River Preserve.
This all might sound like a challenging issue, but there are ways we can protect birds and make this situation better. Contributing to eBird is a great place to start. We wouldn't know this much about bird populations and how they're being affected without people submitting their observations to the database. Your sightings might make the difference between a species gaining protections or losing precious habitat. Now that we've had some practice in identifying birds, we challenge you to go out and submit your own bird count to eBird. You're welcome to create your own eBird account for free, or if you'd prefer, you can submit your observations to the 2020 virtual Fall in the Field eBird account. The login info for this account is in the description below. Try to identify as many species as you can at your chosen location, and help us learn more about how we can protect birds here at the Rogue River Preserve and in your own backyards. Thank you for contributing to this amazing effort, and join us in our next video as we brainstorm some other ways we can help our feathered friends. See you soon!